Sometimes it's just the divine or the universal timing or whatever you want to call it, but your moment might be coming and you just may not have reached it yet. So even if you are thinking positive and you're taking a little bit of action and you're not seeing the results, it doesn't mean that it's not going to come. It means that maybe you're just not to that point yet.
Each day, we're bombarded by everything wrong in the world. When we pick up our phone, turn on the TV, or listen to the radio, we hear all about the heartbreak and destruction happening across the globe. But what if we could change that? What if we could begin to heal the world by focusing on all that's right? We are surrounded by stories of those helping their communities, achieving incredible things, and overcoming insurmountable obstacles. My name is Kelly Rowland, and it's my mission to share stories of love, hope, and inspiration. And I would love for you to join me. Born to Inspire is available at borntoinspirepodcast.com and on most podcasting platforms. Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of Born to Inspire podcast. I hope all is well wherever you may be on the planet. It's kind of wintry here in southern Colorado, and I must say I'm into it. I love it when the seasons and the holiday are perfectly in line. I'm so excited you joined me today. I have the most incredible interview for you. Megan Sweeney is an absolute shining star in the universe. She's a successful entrepreneur and a brilliant creative mind, and is just such a positive light when it comes to living life to its fullest. So today we're talking law of attraction and hard work and how both of those together can change your life.
I just wanna fall in love this Christmas.
Welcome to Born to Inspire podcast, Megan. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
Good. How is everything in Italy?
Well, it's the end of 2020. So as you can imagine, like with the rest of the world, things are a bit crazy. But I just really believe that you have to take whatever life gives you and you choose how to react to it, right? So you can either feel really down in the dumps and like you're a victim to it all, or you can find a way to react and pivot and work within the circumstances that surround you.
Yeah, exactly. I know things have been crazy here as well, worldwide, actually. So,
Absolutely.
So what we're going to talk about today is kind of using the law of attraction plus hard work to really achieve your goals. And I know you've achieved so many things in your life, and you're just kind of a rock star in everything you do. So can you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself, like the different businesses you've been in and where you're at now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for those kind words. I will tell you, I have failed more times than I've succeeded. So I think it's really important for people to realize that whatever they see on the outside is not the full story. Almost 100% of the time, there aren't that many people who rave about their failures. And not that I will rave about mine, but it's important to know that they're out there and people have to fail forward, and that's how you learn, I believe. So I've been involved in a lot of different things in my life. I've done training and marketing and sales. That's where I got the majority of my start in my career. And then I dipped my toe into entrepreneurship with a traditional network marketing company. I'm involved in a startup with my dad with a wearable device that's all about rewiring your mind. And now I've also taken on a social retail business, which I'm absolutely loving right now. And, it's not come necessarily easy. And actually, I just posted today and just wrote about how 3 years ago, it's not that my life was so different than it is today. If you look at the physical manifestations of the things that are in my life, but I am a million times happier today than I was probably 3 years ago.
Really? That's amazing. Well, how do you feel about using the law of attraction to achieve your goals?
Back a few years ago when I felt like kind of my world was falling down around me. So my startup business, I had failed with a Kickstarter campaign that was worth a couple $100,000. So that was a big failure to me. My traditional network marketing business had dwindled down. And on top of that, I was also dealing with infertility issues. We'd had 3 miscarriages and it had been another year of trying and we still weren't pregnant. And it was really a tough time for me. And during that time, I really was believing in the law of attraction and was doing my best to think my way positive, if you will, and kind of turn my life around by thinking about it. I had listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks, which I really love Abraham Hicks, and a lot of other law of attraction gurus out there. And I still love the ideas. The thing I think that can be missing from some of those ideas, or at least for me, it didn't click with me personally, is that yes, you have to think positively, but really the most important reason for thinking positively and upping your vibration is to get you into action, number one. And number two is because when you have that high vibration and you're thinking in that positive manner, the action that you do take is more productive. It's more effective because the energy that you're putting out, of course, is attracting things back to your life. But what I found was you can't just think your way positive. And one of the biggest reasons for that is if you're just thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and not doing it, you are losing a lot of credibility with yourself. So because you're not seeing results, you're not taking action, and you're unable to believe in yourself because you're not doing the things maybe that you told yourself that you would do. And instead you're spending a lot of time trying to think positive, if that makes sense. Like you have to chunk your time so that more of your time is actually spent doing and just a little bit is spent thinking. Because as you're doing, generally, it's really hard to be taking consistent action and to at the exact same time think really negatively. It's pretty hard to do that. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, the most important thing is taking even the smallest steps consistently, keeping your word to yourself, building that self-belief. And it becomes this like upward spiral effect because your positivity comes from the results that you see, right? You're seeing results because you took action. You took action because maybe you gave yourself that little push forward by thinking positively and believing in yourself just enough to take that first step. And then once you keep moving, that's when things start happening for you.
I think one book that I've read that is kind of right in line with what you're talking about is Think and Grow Rich. And have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've actually listened to it on Audible.
Okay, yeah. And it's from the 1800s, long before The Secret or anything like that. And he doesn't ever talk about, just thinking about something and it happening. He tells these stories of people who tried and tried and tried, failed and tried, and just kept going. And through their positive thoughts and their hard work, they achieve these amazing things. I know sometimes things can come across like, they're promoting just thinking about it, even though I'm not sure that they're actually doing that, but it can come across that way. But that is one book where I think it's perfectly in line with what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I've actually listened to that book, and that was also a few years ago. I think the other thing that's important for people to know is sometimes it's just your moment and sometimes you're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes it's just the divine or the universal timing or whatever you want to call it, but your moment might be coming and you just may not have reached it yet. So even if you are thinking positive and you're taking a little bit of action and you're not seeing the results, it doesn't mean that it's not going to come. It means that maybe you're just not to that point yet. Or maybe you just maybe it didn't sink in with you, the fact that you have to think and do in order for things to happen because you weren't ready for that message yet. So absolutely, it's interesting that you say that because absolutely I listened to that book and you're right. I don't know that people are promoting the fact that you just have to think and it will be. I'm just not sure that people are making it super, super clear that it's all about building the muscles, right? The other thing too is I don't personally believe that you can just change your mindset overnight if you're just following the things that everyone says in the books. A lot of times you have to take it day by day and little by little. It's a muscle that you're building, just like if you're going to go to the gym. Like if you've never lifted a weight in your life, you're not going to all of a sudden be able to do like a cling of 150 pounds or whatever. Like it just can't happen. It's not physically possible. And I think it's the same thing for when you're thinking positive or taking a little bit of action. If you've never thought positive in your entire life, it's going to take some time for you to start changing your beliefs and really shaping your thoughts. If you've never really taken action toward your goals in your life, or what's probably more relevant is if you've never consistently taken action for a really long period of time, you have to build that work ethic muscle. I think we oftentimes are figuring out where we are right now, and we think about where we want to go, and we want to get there super fast. And so we think, okay, I'm going to set this really huge goal, but our work ethic and our action that we're used to doing is not in line at all with the goal we've set. Like the action that we're used to taking, that we have a habit of taking, is either a little bit inconsistent, or maybe it's just not enough. It's not big enough to reach that big goal that we want to hit. And so that inconsistency is where we run up against problems. And that's also what affects our mindset, because we're so far from our goals because the action that we're taking, it's not enough to reach that goal. And so then we start doubting ourselves and we think we're not worth it. And then all of that crumbles, right? All of the positive thinking that we had taken kind of comes crashing down, and it can be really frustrating. So we have to also, at the same time, while thinking positively, make sure we're being realistic with where our goals are and the action that we're used to taking, and then somehow marry those up and balance them. So maybe it's okay to bring down our goals a little bit as we build the positive mindset and the actions that back it up.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. As a matter of fact, doing a podcast and trying to write a blog, I find myself falling short. And I just reached a point where I'm like, if I just take, 15, 20 minutes a day, to work on these things, then I'll get so much more done, because it is hard when you're working a full-time job and you're doing all these other things, handling life and all of that, and then trying to achieve something on the side. It can be overwhelming. And I just thought I've got to get to the point where I just work on things a little bit each day, rather than wait for one day and then something comes up and, and then I don't get it done.
Yes. So with you, if I can just share with you. So I am really good at working for other people. My work ethic is like so strong. When it comes to working toward my own goals, I have floundered for most of my life. Recently, I started doing exactly what you said, which is even before I'm allowed to have my coffee for the day, like literally, I don't let myself drink my first cup of coffee until I've taken 15 minutes to work on my side business. Mm-hmm. I just don't allow myself that. And I've done that now for maybe like 2 months. And so I have taken action every single day toward my business, every single day for like 2 months. And for me, that's unheard of. And it's because before, my goals and the action goals that I was setting, they were just so out of line with my habits and my past work ethic. So I'm building my muscle, little by little. And so what I'm finding is that not only am I doing that 15 minutes in the morning, which I'm doing come hell or high water, I'm also finding that extra time on those other days where I have more time to work toward my business. And that 15 minutes I'm actually finding has gotten me really far. Like that little bit of concentrated work, I'm getting it done because I want my coffee. So I'm getting it done, But then after that, the work is taking me to a point where I can spend some time later following up or taking other action based on that small concentrated amount of work that I'm doing. And I think that can actually relate to anything that anyone wants to do. If they want to start working out and getting in shape, literally 15 minutes of activity, like maybe it's sit-ups or push-ups or something without even equipment, keep your pajamas on. That's the other thing. Like if we just have to remove all the barriers, right? So for me, working out in the morning, one of the things I hate doing is changing because it's freaking cold in the morning. I don't like changing into my workout clothes. Yeah. If I would just take, 5 or even 15 minutes, even 5 minutes to do something really small, but do it every single day before I have my coffee, or if you're a tea drinker, whatever your morning routine is, take literally 5 to 15 minutes and do it every day before that next step can happen, and remove as many barriers as you can. And you start building that belief in yourself. You're like, wow, I'm doing what I said I would do. I can do this. I am consistent. I am persistent. I keep my word to myself. And that positive action follows the positive thoughts. And again, it's that upward spiral.
Yeah. And I think too, we put sometimes silly barriers like I don't have the right workout clothes or something like that. I used to run, but I haven't for a long time. And I wanted to run. And I'm like, I've got to get all these new, running clothes and the perfect shoes. Well, then one day I just thought, I'm going to run with my dog. And so we we ran like half a block, not a big deal, but I didn't have the perfect running clothes or running shoes. I just kind of did it. So sometimes I think we can put barriers in front of ourselves that we have to have this or that to get started. And we really don't. Another story, similar story, is my fiance, Jason. He started a YouTube channel and he's now earning his living on this YouTube channel. But he always talks about how a lot of people think they have to have all this equipment, the perfect microphone, this and that. But he literally started with a laptop and a $20 microphone. So we sometimes feel like we have to, have all these things to actually do what we're trying to do, when actually you should just start.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that comes from most humans fear what other people think of them. And that's something that even still I find myself having to deal with on a pretty regular basis. But we're so afraid of what people are going to think about us when we go for that run that we haven't done for a while. Like, are we going to look like Phoebe running down Central Park?
Right, exactly.
Episode? Or is my sound quality going to be good enough when I record that YouTube video? Or, if I'm reaching out to people or posting about my business, are people going to think I'm crazy or laugh at me or just think I'm trying to make money off them? I mean, these are thoughts that run through all of our heads all the time. And a lot of times we don't focus that positive thinking toward that aspect. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of us make. So we do a lot of self-introspection and thinking about how we can be better and be brave and be consistent and feel worthy. And that's all great. And it's also, I have two words that I think really have helped me. And I talk about this a lot because I feel very strongly about them. And the two words are, I'm going to do this until, and I'm going to do this despite. And in that despite list is, I'm going to do this despite people thinking I'm a lunatic. I'm going to do this despite people thinking I'm trying to make a buck off them. I'm going to do this despite the fact that it's hard. I'm going to do this despite the fact it's going to take me a long time. I'm going to do this despite the fact that it's not going to go as planned, no matter how well I plan it. I'm going to do it until I reach that level of success that I've always been dreaming of, but I'm going to do it despite all of these other things. And that, for me, I have these two words actually written right next to me on a big whiteboard, because when I keep that in mind, I can take those smaller steps without having to be perfect, because I'm going to do it anyway. So I might as well just do it. I'm going to do it despite all of these things. So just do it. It makes it a lot easier when you have that mindset where you can just say, you know what, kind of F it to all that other stuff. I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing for sure. And it's something you've got to kind of get past all the hangups you have as far as the look. I don't look professional doing this. I don't have, I agree 100%. Do you have any stories of where you had to really use this positive mindset and struggled with it?
Yeah, I mean, probably most of my life I've struggled with it. I think specifically, if I'm thinking about in business, where a lot of people can maybe relate, is when you're in business for yourself, and especially if you're selling something. A lot of us are in sales, and whether you're in a physical product sales or a service sales or not, just so you know, you're probably selling something. Like, you might be selling your podcast, you might be selling your YouTube channel, but it's all about promotion and helping people find what it is that you're doing, and then helping them find a way that it can work for them, if it will, in fact, work for them, or finding a different solution. The thing is, like, when you're selling something for yourself and not someone else, it's hard. And so I think you have to really have that mindset that, first of all, just be a little bit brave, think positively in the fact that you have the courage and the bravery to do this, because that's another thing is people don't talk about the fact that it is hard, and it's not hard because you don't have the time, and it's not hard because it's going to take some time to see results. It's hard because people will probably talk about you behind your back. It's hard because you'll lose a little bit of social esteem, probably, depending on what it is that you're selling. It's hard because people aren't going to believe in you. And it's hard mostly because we don't believe in ourselves. So I think when I switched to this new business, as an example, the social retail business, even after all my failures with my other network marketing business, and I had some success here and there, but I still count it as a failure because it didn't take me to where I wanted to go, and I quit before I got to that until point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is I think we have to realize two things. Number one, you don't always have to stick with something forever. You can pivot. What's important is that you find a vision and stick with it. You don't have to stick with a certain vehicle. You don't have to stick with doing a podcast. You don't have to stick with doing a YouTube channel. You don't have to stick with selling. You can really shift here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do find something, you really have to have that long-term mindset and think positively toward that. But the most important thing is don't quit. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have to get through that hard stuff, and it will be hard. And so right now, specifically with this new business, I now know all of that. For whatever reason, I just didn't see it before. I thought things would be a lot easier because the law of attraction makes things look easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that's what happens is people are like, oh, I manifested $1,000. Oh, I manifested my perfect husband. Oh, I manifested my perfect job. But what they're probably not telling you is that they worked on themselves for a really long time to get the skills necessary to be hired for that job.
Mm-hmm.
They did a lot of personal growth and development and became the person that they needed to be in order to attract that perfect husband. And that's the thing that we all need to really consider, is that you have to have that grit to stick with it and build up the mental toughness to go along with all those positive thoughts, because almost everything that we do that's at all worthwhile is going to take time. And you've got to have that stick-to-itiveness, otherwise you'll quit before you get there. So for me, I'm at the very beginning stages of this new business. With Guru Go, I've been doing it for years. And the reason that one's easy for me to stick to is because it's my dad's vision primarily. And it's kind of been brought down to me or passed down to me. I feel like it's in my DNA. There's no way I can quit on that one. But on a lot of other things, it's easier to quit. So while I'm at the beginning stages of this new business, I know that it's going to take some time. I know that I'm going to lose some social esteem. I know that I'm going to have to do it until and despite. And so it's making everything so much easier. Like, it's all just so much easier because the hard days don't get me down because I expected them. And so it's so much easier to stay up at a higher level and not get stuck down in the doldrums, because I know it's going to be hard. And I think if we all go into it knowing that whatever we're going to do is going to be hard, I think that helps a lot. And people like to say things don't have to be hard, and they don't have to be hard. Like, you don't have to struggle, but I think things are hard. If you want to really grow, it's going to be hard. You don't have to feel the struggle, but it's going to be hard. It's going to challenge you. It's going to bring a lot of things that maybe you didn't expect. And that's the hardness that I think we all should expect, even though we don't have to let it keep us down. We just have to expect that it's going to be hard if we really want to grow to a high level.
Exactly. I think knowing that not every day is going to be a walk in the park, that there are going to be days where you get frustrated. I've had those issues before too. Things get tough, they get messy. And so you automatically back down. If you go into it knowing that there are going to be days like that and just to plug through it, I think that's definitely an area where I've grown personally. Is I don't give up now, even when things do get hard or life gets crazy and busy and I wasn't able to put in the time that I had hoped to put into my podcast or blog or whatever. I'm not quitting, but I'm just trying to reorganize. You're such a wise person. I always love talking to you, and you always have so many positive things to say. What about your businesses? Tell us a little bit about your businesses.
Sure. So I've done like a million different things. So I do have a YouTube channel. I was doing a blog, but the two things that I'm really focused on right now are my project with my dad. It's called Guru Go. It's a wearable device that uses brainwave entrainment to really rewire your mind. So all of this work that I've done, actually a lot of it, I do have Guru Go to thank for it, because I am writing the programs for it, a lot of them selfishly with me, with myself in mind.
Mhm.
And so some of the breakthroughs that I've had are going a bit faster, because what it's able to do is it's able to get deep within your subconscious mind and rewrite those stories, those negative stories that you have programmed, maybe from a very young age, about not being good enough or not being brave enough. So a lot of the breakthroughs I have are actually due to Guru Go. It's not available yet. We are hoping to launch early in 2021.
Mhm.
This has been my dad's dream for probably 15 years now. I've been involved with the project for 3, 4, or 5 years. I can't even remember, I lose count. But I think this is going to be a piece of technology that can really, really help people have faster breakthroughs.
Yeah.
So super excited about that one. The other project that I'm doing is a social retail business with my husband. It's all online. It's basically, we are working with an online franchise, and we are slinging collagen, liquid collagen products, which are really revolutionary. A lot of non-toxic, clean living household and personal care items. So I'm a big fan of the environment. I'm a big tree hugger. So the product line goes right in line with my own values and ethos. And that's been a lot of fun, taking this traditional startup approach, working on a blog, and also doing YouTube and that kind of thing with affiliate marketing. One of the things that I love about the social retail model is it's something that anyone can do. So if you don't have your own product idea, if you don't have the infrastructure to create your own e-commerce site or things like that, when you do a social retail type of business, all of that is done for you. The products are already there. You don't have to get patents. You don't have to worry about trademarks. You don't have to build a website. That's all there for you. What you do is simply you promote the products, you sell the products. You can do it in a lot of different ways. You can do it through blogging. You can do it through YouTubing. So you can take your own creativity, but the products themselves and the infrastructure is already there for you. So it's a really nice way with really very little investment monetarily. And it's one of those things that people can actually grow through and grow with, which I think is really amazing. And you can leverage the work of not just one, but many. And that's really powerful. So those are the two things that I'm really focusing on right now.
And you also have a YouTube channel. Is that a cooking channel?
Yeah, so I have a couple of YouTube channels. Yeah, so one of them is cooking. So one of the projects that we're doing really is a back burner hobby, but it's called So Good Home Italia. And so we have videos in Italian and in English talking about cooking, gardening, just all things home, because I am an American living in Italy. And so the lifestyle is a bit different over here. And so I like to share the Italian lifestyle with my American friends, but we're also sharing some of the American goodies with the Italian folks in Italian. So that's been kind of fun for us. We're also working on another YouTube channel, very slowly, back burners kind of stuff. And it's called, oh my gosh, now I'm blanking because it's so back burner, but the Social Mind Co. And that's all about the mindset that I think is really important for people to have as they show up on social media, being able to really believe in yourself and have that mindset that you are a unique human, you have a unique perspective, and you have so much value to share with the world. And the idea is to help people realize that value and then be able to leverage it onto social media, sharing about whatever projects it is that they love.
That's so wonderful, Megan. Thank you so much for being on Born to Inspire. I always love chatting with you.
Love chatting with you as well. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for the invite.
Megan is so wonderful, beautiful on the inside and out, and so positive. Thank you for joining me today. If you're interested in hearing more episodes of Born to Inspire podcast, you can catch them on most podcasting platforms and on my website, borntoinspire.co. Also, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest under Born to Inspire Podcast. I wish you all a happy and healthy holiday season. And until next time, don't forget to share some inspiration.
Carols and bells, none of them help. I still feel blue. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. Ooh. don't need a fancy watch. You can give the elves a break. No, you can't make it in the shop. You can't put it on your sleigh. You know me so well that nobody else can do what you do. I just wanna fall in love this Christmas. I just wanna fall in love. Save the wrapping paper,